Thank you, thank you. Welcome to Mark Morris, The Week in Retrospect, episode 12. Today, we got a lot to cover. Let's start with the vinyl. I was going to continue with my little series with horror-related records, for the Halloween season. But Brian at Embryonic Records has been doing a tiny little series, 2 videos on EPs, and the more he talked about it, the more I wanted to show off my EPs. Now, EPs are extended plays here. The only EPs I own are Beatles EPs and one of my very own EPs that I'll talk about at the very end here. But I wanted to show my Beatles EP just because I think EPs are so cool. The first one I want to show you is Twist and Shout. And this has on side 1 Twist and Shout and A Taste of Honey, and on side 2 Do You Want to Know a Secret? And There's a Place. These are just fun little samples from the regular LPs in most cases. Here's the Beatles hits. From Me to You, Thank You Girl, and then on side 2, we have Please Please Me and Love Me Do. That side 2 is a winner, let me tell you that. That is an awesome EP. And then the Beatles #1. I've talked about this specifically in another video, one of my earlier videos. I'm not encouraging people to go back and watch those earlier videos because they're pretty cringy, but I did do a whole thing on this EP. And now we're getting into some more of the interesting stuff in my mind. This is the Beatles for Sale EP, Rock and Roll Music, No Reply, 8 Days a Week, and I'm a Loser. I love the little picture sleeves on all of these. And then Beatles for Sale #2. On Beatles for Sale #2, we have I'll Follow the Sun, Babies in Black, then on side 2, Words of Love, that's that Buddy Holly song, and I Don't Want to Spoil the Party, which I've always really liked that song. I Don't Want to Spoil the Party. The Beatles million sellers. These are the songs that have sold 1 million copies. She Loves You, I Want to Hold Your Hand, Can't Buy Me Love, and I Feel Fine. I just love these picture sleeves. And then here's the actual what the records look like. Now, Brian was showing his 12-inch EPs, and I think he showed some 10-inch EPs. These are just 7-inch EPs. Hard Day's Night 1 and A Hard Day's Night 2. An excellent EP here. The Beatles Nowhere Man. So this has Nowhere Man, Driving My Car, Michelle, You Won't See Me. And then the Beatles Yesterday. These are just fun little things, and I don't know if anybody else will be interested in these. I like these things. I don't play them much because I have the LPs, and if I play something, it's going to be the LP. But this one has Yesterday, Act Naturally, You Like Me Too Much, and It's Only Love. Then my all-time favorite is the Beatles double EP, Magical Mystery Tour. Now this is how Magical Mystery Tour came out in the UK. It was just a double EP. But when Capitol Records got their hands on it, they turned it into the LP that we all know and love now. And that actually became the canon for the Magical Mystery Tour. But this is very interesting. My dog over there, oh, there she goes. There's another dog next door that she likes to fight with. But my dog's name is Elsa. She's a very good dog. And anyway, so this is the EP. I also have the Beatles Magical Mystery Tour EP Deluxe super deluxe set. I did an entire video on that. In fact, it's one of my more popular videos. Now those are like, I think those are 11 of the 13 official EPs. I'm still missing a couple. But then I have this promo thing. It is the Beatles by Royal Command. And this has Till There Was You, Twist and Shout, From Me to You, and She Loves You. The beautiful thing about this is the one that has John Lennon's line about, if you are in the poor seat, just clap your hands. The rest of you just rattle your jewelry. So I love having that little bit of history in my collection. The only other EP I have is an EP by Henry C. Cobb Jr. and Banjo Joe. That happens to be me and my friend Greg Peterson, who I've talked about in other video. He's a musician out on the East Coast. He's written songs for Not a Surf. He has his own. He's in The Scene Is Now. Just a very creative man. Anyway, what happened with this is he did the music, and then I came up with the lyrics and sang the songs. And this happened in the 1990s. I was Henry C. Cobb Jr. and Greg was Banjo Joe. There's no banjo music on the album, though we do have another album where we do have a lot of banjo music. But this is the actual EP. I've played it once. It sounds pretty good. I was pretty impressed with it. It came in a limited edition, so I don't think you can get this anymore. Each EP had its own cover. So we had a professional graphic artist do all covers. I think there were 75 of them. And there were individual covers. Well, the graphic artist's daughter wanted to get in on the action, so she drew a couple of covers too, and those are the ones I was really drawn to, and they let me have one of the ones done by the daughter. And it comes with this really cool booklet, and it has the story of Henry C. Cobb Jr., the lyrics. The lyrics, those are really important because those are the things I did. The president of Mighty Feeble Records at the time did some block prints in here. I'm seeing if I can find some of these block prints, but I just love the art in here. His name's Mike Hoff. So it's one of the more things I'm proud of that I've done in the art world. But I'm not a natural musician, and so, but I love music, and so this was fun for me to do. I'll link to the Bandcamp. You could still get you can still stream it and download that stuff, but you can't get the EP anymore. But I'll link to it down below so you can listen to it. It's called I'll See You Tomorrow. Right now, I just want to jump right into the week in retrospect. And this is where I go through the week, starting with Sunday. Sunday, I can't really remember what I did, but I did take some footage. And every town seems to have, around Halloween town, at least one house that really seems to go all out on Halloween. And my hometown is no exception. So I thought I would go out and film some of the attractions at this person's house. I don't know who owns the house or who lives there, but every year they go way out on Halloween, and a lot of their little skeleton things, they stay out all year, but at Halloween just everything comes out, and I just want you to take a little view of what I get to experience every Halloween. So on Monday, my daughter Luxy, who was here from LA for her birthday, she had to fly back to LA that day. So I'm going to miss her. I do hope she'll be back. There is a possibility they may move back to this area as early as January, but I don't want to get my hopes up. But I hope to see her again very soon. I took that Monday off because I had a doctor's appointment, and I think I was kidding around with Brian from EmbryonicRobot at one time that I was going to film my doctor's visit and exam, and I think he thought I was kidding. But let's take a look at my prostate exam right now.
Paging Dr. White. Dr. White, call your office. Dr. White, call your office.
Okay, I didn't have my prostate examined, and if I did, I would not have filmed it. But I thought I would give you guys a thrill. I did get some bad news, though, at the doctor's office, and I just want everybody to brace themselves. I was told, I'm 62 years old, so I guess this is going to come sooner or later. I was told that I have 25 to 30 years left to live. 35 tops. So I just need everybody to be strong. Your VC community needs you to be stronger than ever now. And thank you for your thoughts and prayers. Tuesday, I cannot remember what I did on Tuesday. I think I sort of know, but I'm not positive. I didn't take very good notes this week, and some of the days have gotten jumbled for me. But Tuesday, I believe, is I went over to my niece Lily's house, and she prepared me some tamales and enchiladas and rice. We really like our Mexican food, Lily and I. And then I believe she had bought the Silent Hill 2 video game, and I watched her play that for a while. I think that's what happened Tuesday. That's what I'm going to say happened Tuesday, but that's my Tuesday. Maybe. I do remember Wednesday because it was John Lennon's birthday. October 9th is John Lennon's birthday, and it's a birthday I always remember. I don't have to be reminded of it. It's kind of like my own birthday or Luxy's birthday. I thought I'd use this day just to talk about John Lennon's influence on me and how important he was to me in my life, as he was to so many others. Beatle Dave, and I'll link to this below, but Beatle Dave has done, he calls it Beatle Dave's John Lennon Special Vinyl Tag. I'll link to that below. And what he did is he went through all of Lennon's proper studio albums, and he would pick a favorite song from each record, and he would eliminate anything that was a single. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show more than just the regular studio albums, but I might pick out a couple of favorite songs from each album. But John Lennon was just so important to me. When I was growing up, my first heroes were probably my brother Rick and my brother Terry. My brother Rick, he went into the Navy during the Vietnam years, and he left very early on. I was probably 5 or 6 when he left, and eventually my brother Terry became my big hero. I started developing this John Lennon fascination. You know, when you're younger and you first get into the Beatles, and I want to look like Paul McCartney, and I liked the way he looked. I liked the sound of his voice. But as you mature, and I've heard this from a lot of people, so it's not just me. As you mature, you start moving towards Lennon's Lennon just seemed to have more substance. He had more, he was edgier. He had such a mindset that it just kind of gave you energy. And I just thought he was just so freaking cool. And I really liked John Lennon in his long hair, freaky days, you know. I remember seeing Let It Be, and you know, I thought he looked cool on the cover, but when you turn the cover over, you see him just wailing on the guitar. He has this beard and stuff. It almost looks like a wolf man. I saw that and I'm like, this guy's cool. This is who I want to emulate. And what I loved about him was he was not afraid to be vulnerable. And he was always looking to get better. And he kind of gave me that sort of, you know what, I can't just survive and live through each day and not do anything to make myself a better person. And one of the things I remember, and I was very young, but my little brother Tom and I, we used to get into these horrible physical fights. It's lucky I did not kill him or vice versa. But I remember about 13 or 14, and I was reading about John Lennon and his stance on nonviolence and all this stuff, and I'm like, I gotta stop fighting with my brother. I gotta stop beating him up. We kind of went into some Cold War years, but we stopped fighting. The other thing that helped was my brother started getting into martial arts, so that might have had something to do with it too, but I didn't pick fights with him anymore after that. But anyway, John Lennon was always such a hero to me, and he still is today. And I remember I was in high school when he was shot and killed, and my little brother was the one who told me. I was coming downstairs, and he was coming upstairs. We were getting ready for school, and he said, John Lennon was shot last night. And I wasn't really shocked. I'm like, oh, somebody shot him, probably shot him in the arm. I just could not believe he would be dead. And when he was dead, I was really, really shocked. And you know, celebrities die all the time. And sometimes I feel weird. I'm like, oh, that's sad. You know, I've always liked Bob Newhart recently. I'm like, you know, Bob Newhart was such a good guy. But I didn't cry over Bob Newhart. I cried when John Lennon died, and more than once. And I still miss him. I still wonder what John Lennon would say about the world today. And I know he wants me to think for myself. He doesn't like this hero worship. He wants people to be their own people and think and think and think. And I think I've done that to an extent, but man, it would be comforting to hear John Lennon speak every now and again, just to like, okay, everything's going to be okay. John is here. And I know that sounds crazy, but I really love John Lennon. I want to go through some of his records. This is my favorite Lennon record, Plastic Ono Band. I could never just pick one song off any of these things, but of course, Working Class Hero is probably my all-time favorite song on here. I love Remember and Love. I Found Out, dear Lord, I love that song, and God. Of course, Imagine. Oh, this kind of came out there. Y'all remember this? This is him mocking McCartney with the Ram album. But Imagine is another album I love. The strange thing about it, though, I'm not a big fan of the song Imagine. I loved it when I first heard it, but I've heard it so many times, and people talk about John Lennon or they play John Lennon songs. Imagine is always the one they play. And as much as I had loved it, I just got tired of it. But I do love this album. I Don't Want to Be a Soldier, Give Me Some Truth, and Crippled Inside are some of my favorites off of here. Oh, How Do You Sleep, of course, John Lennon's biting song on Paul McCartney. It's a good song. It is so vicious, though. It is so vicious. When I was younger, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a great song. Now I feel like it's just kind of a mean song, but I still like to listen to it. Sometime in New York City, he made it, he wanted to become, make it like a newspaper, like he was reporting what was going on at the time. This song, or this album, is not one of his greatest, in my opinion, that I listen to much, but I do love some of these songs on here. Luck of the Irish, I believe. Yeah, The Luck of the Irish, I like that one. John Sinclair. Attica State, if I haven't listened to it for a while. Those are my favorite songs on Sometime in New York City. This is another John Lennon record I love. It is Walls and Bridges. And I just love this album. I just think it's a great album. It has that, you know, where you can open the flaps and you can, you know, I've obviously done this so many times, I'm surprised that the pieces haven't fallen off here. It's a great record. Nobody Loves You When You're Down and Out is one of my favorites. Old Dirt Road, Steel and Glass, dear Lord, I love that song, which apparently was originally about Alan Klein, but I've heard John Lennon in interviews say, you know, I always write these vicious songs about people and then I re-listen to them and I'm like, that's another song about me. And I've heard him say that about Steel and Glass. Going Down on Love. Number 9 Dream is on here. This is such a great album. What You Got. Nobody Loves You When You're Down and Out. I've always loved that song because I'm a little maudlin, but just a great album. One of my favorites. Right up there after Plastic Ono Band. And I really like Mind Games too. I know people don't like that album and it's just been re-released. Actually, I'm going to show you that re-release now, but I really like Mind Games a lot too. And that's the thing, I just love John Lennon's voice. You know, when you hear Paul McCartney, especially the younger Paul McCartney, his voice is just so great. But Lennon's voice, there's just something, it speaks to me more. It doesn't have the, maybe the theatrics or something about it. Just something about Lennon's voice I'd love to hear. And this has Mind Games on it. My very favorite is Bring Out the Lucy, Free to People. I love that song. I just love that song. And Out of the Blue is on here. Meat City is on here. I Know. Just a beautiful, beautiful album. I know a lot of people don't like it or think it's like John Lennon trying to be commercial. You know, he wasn't the most popular band ever, so he might be a little commercial at times. John Lennon Rock and Roll. I remember I got this for, I think it was my birthday or Christmas. And I remember being a little disappointed that it wasn't his original music, not his original music. It was, he's doing these old rock and roll songs that he grew up on. And it has some, I didn't like it at first. As I got older, I came to appreciate it. There's a couple songs on here that I still like to listen to. Stand By Me, of course. That Ready Teddy Rip It Up, he does a great job on that. You Can't Catch Me and Ain't That a Shame. Slipping and Sliding, there's kind of a fun video of that on YouTube. Then of course, Double Fantasy. Now we're getting to some kind of sad years. But these albums, you know, these are, even though they're great, they're sad because, you know, this is where, just about where he's going to get assassinated. And there's so many great songs on here. Watching the Wheels, just like Starting Over, you know, it just had so much hope and joy in it. I'm Losing You, and then Beautiful Boy is on here. And then, you know, of course, the assassination of John Lennon. And it just, Mark David Chapman. I just don't like that guy. I just don't like him. And then, you know, afterwards, Yoko put together Milk and Honey with some of the songs that weren't completed, but some great songs. I'm Stepping Out, Nobody Told Me, Borrowed Time, Grow Old With Me. It's just so sad. This is just a compilation album, but it's one of the first John Lennon albums I ever bought. Shaved Fish with all the hits on there. Give Peace a Chance, Cold Turkey, Instant Karma, Power to the People, Mother. Woman is the black person of the world is what I would say today. Imagine's on here. Whatever Gets You Through the Night with Elton John. Mind Games #9 Dreams. Happy Christmas, War Is Over. My Poor Family. Every Christmas morning I would start playing that song. And then the reprise of Give Peace a Chance. Then just a few odds and ends here. Men Love Avenue, which side 2 of this I really love. And a lot of it is just these kind of, they're not, maybe demos would be a good word, but Steel and Glass and Old Dirt Road, Nobody Loves You When You're Down and Out, just all stripped down. And I just love side 2 on this. And I have another video where I just talk about that record, so I'm not going to go into it. And then, of course, Sean Lennon did the ultimate mix of Give Me Some Truth. Just beautiful, just great songs. Anyway, I'm sorry I went on so long, but that is probably going to be the longest part of this video. I love John Lennon and I love the Beatles. When I listen to the Beatles, you know, I love all those songs, but those John Lennon songs, I'm a Loser, Nowhere Man, A Day in the Life, Strawberry Fields, In My Life, those are the songs that just get in my soul and stay there. Thursday came about. I don't remember a lot about Thursday. However, what I do remember about Thursday is I live in Iowa, and very rarely are we privy to seeing the Northern Lights, and it's just something I've always wanted to experience. This particular Thursday, the Northern Lights, the Aurora Borealis, was able to be seen through Iowa. I kept going outside with my dog, and we saw some discoloration, I might call it, but I never saw anything spectacular. And I was on the internet, and one of my friends that lives maybe 3 miles away from me had all these spectacular pictures, and underneath them it said going on now in all directions. So I got my dog and we went running out. I didn't see anything that so spectacular. But my dear friend Amy Gardner, who is a photographer and specializes in night photography, she sent me some of the pictures she took through Snapchat, and I said, hey, did you get any still photographs that I can share on my video, weekly video? And she let me do it. So I'm going to show you some of, she sent me 4 shots that I just think are magnificent. So thank you, Amy. And you guys enjoy these, the Aurora Borealis from Iowa. Friday, I remember because I got so sick. I went to work. I didn't sleep well the night before. I couldn't get to bed. I think it was like 3:30 the last time I looked at the clock before I fell asleep. And then I got to work between 7:30 and 8 o'clock. And I just felt tired at first. And I'm like, oh man, I am tired. But as the day went on, I felt my throat getting sore. I start feeling weak. And I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm getting something. So I went home early, which was sad because, not sad that I left work early, but Friday's the night that I usually spend with my niece Lily and we watch a movie. So I had to call her and say, I can't do it tonight. There's no way I can do this. I'm just too tired and I have to rest. And I was feeling pretty bad, but what arrived in the mail picked me up a little bit. If you remember from last week's video, I had won a contest from the youngest members of the vinyl community where I'd won 5 records. Well, they showed up on Friday just when I needed them the most. I'm going to do a proper video on these, but I was going to do an unboxing, but I do not have that kind of patience. I kept it in the box for one day and then I'm like, I just want to look at them. And I knew what they were. It wasn't like it was a surprise, but I just had to look at them. So these are the records. The Queen, News of the World. And these are all like brand new. Look, they haven't even been opened. The Cheap Trick debut. Look at that thing. Awesome. The Kiss debut. And I do not have any Kiss records. And so this is my first Kiss record. Dylan, one of the youngest members of the vinyl community, loves Kiss. So I'm going to listen to that and I'll give you an honest review. But I had a problem with Kiss when they first came out because I was such an Alice Cooper fan. And I was so mad because I thought they were stealing his gimmick. And then I didn't think the music was very exciting. But now that I'm older, I think I might be able to see past my prejudice, and I'll tell you what I think of it. This is the Midnight Callers. And now Emma, from the youngest members of the vinyl community, she has really built these people up. So I'm really excited to hear this. And they actually got the producer to sign this copy. So I got an autographed copy of Rattled Humming Heart by the Midnight Callers. So I'm looking forward to this, Emma. And I'll be listening to these in the next week or so. The Gripweeds, Trip Around the Sun. Now this is another band I have not listened to. So I'm very excited about this too. And the other thing is I'm really trying to cut down on my record buying. I've bought so many records in the last 6 months or so that I've actually made my life kind of hard because you know, I'm spending money on records and on other things I really should be spending money on. So I've really cut down on record buying, and so these 5 records showing up was extra special. So thank you guys, and I'm going to do a proper video on this very soon. So Saturday, I felt better. I felt quite a bit better. I wasn't 100%, but my sore throat was gone. I felt a little tired and weak, but I did not get that feeling like I was going to be on the verge of death anytime, which is usually the case. If I could catch an illness early on and just sleep through it and take lots of medicine, I can get through it. But if I ignore it, it can last for weeks or months. So I think I got enough rest and took care of myself. So on Saturday, my niece Lily and I, we decided we would go to the local comic shop, which is called Spud's Emporium of Comics and Games. And Lily's a big comic fan. I'm not so much. I used to collect comics in the 70s and the early 80s, but I sold all my comics early on and didn't really follow them since. But lately I've been kind of interested in them again just because of some of Mainly David from Garage Geek. He's a vinyl community guy, but he also talks about books and comics and other things. And we went down there, and there was a whole bunch of horror comics I wanted to buy, but I did not allow myself to do it because I know if I start buying them, I'll start collecting them again, and I can't afford to collect anything. But we did have a good time down there, and I want to show you a little clip of Lily and I at Spud's Emporium in my local town. So after the Emporium, because I had bailed out on Friday night movie night, Lily and I decided to watch a movie on Saturday afternoon. So we went to her house, and the movie this week was Hellboy, the 2004 version by Del Toro. I had never seen it before. It's one of Lily's favorite movies, or one of her important movies, and so I was excited to see it. Before we could watch it, Lily's dogs, Ollie and Lincoln, they were playing a little tug of war, but after they got done with tug of war, we watched Hellboy. Let's take a look at this clip.
Nothing. Nothing at all.
I'm not a real big fan of superhero movies. I just never have been. They're fine entertainment. I don't think about them too much, though. I did like Hellboy, though. I think, yeah, it was a little more interesting to me. I think I would have enjoyed it more if I had actually read the comic series. Lily would explain like pieces that were missing for me. I'm a bit daft when it comes to these things, but it was a good movie. It was very entertaining, more enjoyable to me than most superhero movies. So Hellboy, thumbs up from me. I just have a little final message. This is going to be my last episode of the Week in Retrospect. It's I've made it 3 months without fail. I've done this, and it's fun for me to a point. I feel it's getting stale, and if it's getting stale for me, I imagine it is torture for you. So I just want to stop for a while. I might bring it back when my life gets more interesting, but this is going to be the last one, at least for a while. But I'm going to continue making videos, of course, and I have all sorts of ideas. The first thing I need to do is go over these records I won from the youngest members of the vinyl community. So thanks for watching this series and being part of it. It was fun, and it was fun having you look at my life, and it'll be a fun little time capsule for people after I'm gone, is what I'm hoping. So Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you all again soon.